Hi everyone, my name is Renita and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, SATX Bound question mark. So if you've been considering moving to Texas and San Antonio, Texas might be on your radar, I'm here to share with you some tips and some tricks about things that I've noticed, paid attention to, and seen since I've been here. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you've clicked like and if you click subscribe and you're coming back to see what else I'm talking about for San Antonio, thank you, and welcome. Come on in. And like I said, I've been here for 3 years. I moved from the Midwest, and we all know the Midwest has inclement weather. It snows, it rains, it hails, it's hot, it's cold, whatever. It's a lot of things going on in the Midwest, but down here in San Antonio, Texas, the weather is like paradise. And I mean that like it's triple digit degree weather 9 months out of the year. And if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen and don't come to San Antonio, Texas. But otherwise, if you're looking for a different change of scenery, different weather climate, warmer weather, San Antonio is it is. And I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it a whole lot. San Antonio weather is like paradise. The sun is shining 90% of the time. And you will need a sunshade for your car, and you will also need to invest in sunscreen. Those are definitely two things that you will need down here. Oh, and when you decide on where you want to live, when you decide to relocate down here, you will want a garage, because if your car is outside in the elements, and if it's 110 degrees plus in the shade, it's 120 or however, you want to have some kind of protection for your vehicle, because it'll be hotter than the sun when you open that door to get in there. So a sunshade, definitely some sunscreen, and also a garage when you're looking for places to live, which is another thing. There's so many places to live down here, so many places. You have several options to choose from. The housing market down here is affordable, especially depending on what side of town that you want to live in, or what side of town you want to live on. And San Antonio is also the 7th largest growing city in the United States. So that means that there's a lot of people that are moving down here. And not only that, just for a change of scenery or for somewhere else or a warmer climate, but this place is also known as Military City, which means that they have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a possible military bases here. And a lot of people from the military have come here and retired here and work here in the military. I got a whole story about that. That's part of the reason why I came down here, but we'll get into that some other time. But so, I mean, with the military being here, it's always people being stationed here, having to work here, moving their family here, moving out of it. It's just a lot going on with it being a military city. So that means it's going to be constantly growing. Last thing I read, it said that 39 million people come here to visit, and probably 5 million of them stay or something like that. And don't quote me, but you can find out. But even when I came here to visit, I only came for like a week, and I was just like, oh man, the weather, oh man, this is nice, oh man, this is cool, man. It didn't look like home, it didn't look like what I was used to. So I decided to come down here and make it my home. And the weather is paradise. Like, people like, it's hot outside, and I'm like, it's hot everywhere in the summertime wherever you go. So just know what to do down here. Get you some sunscreen, have you a garage, and make sure you got a sunshade. And also, with it being paradise type weather, is tropical, like I said, triple digit temperatures on a regular basis. It does rain. And when it rains, it pours. It has the potential to flood here sometimes in certain areas. And you just want to take cover, because when that rain comes down, baby, it is something else. And then if it hails on top of that, so there are some hailstorms that be in the forecast, and you better take cover. Like, I was in a hailstorm for the first time last year when it happened, or earlier this year. I think it happened in like March or April or something. And that hailstorm was so tough, I was afraid for my car and my safety, right? That hail was hitting my windshields, making me feel like it was gonna bust my window at any minute. But thankfully, I was next to the highway, so I went up under the underpass like several other drivers did, and I was able to lay low until the storm passed. But after after it stopped hailing and the storm had passed or whatever, it was water everywhere. And it was still kind of raining or whatever, and you couldn't even hardly see that it was water everywhere. Oh my God. So I had to proceed with caution even to get to where I lived at the time, because I was just like, oh my God, this is a lot of water. This is a lot of rain. Is it going to hail some more? Like, I'm trying to get out the rain because I'm afraid it's going to hail some more, and I don't want to be stuck out here in it. So the weather is paradise. It's tropical. It's dry heat. It gets humid sometimes. When it rains, it pours. It does hail. So that's why you'll need your garage also, because I know a couple of people personally that had to file insurance claims because of hail damage to their vehicle. And you don't want that to be your issue, right? We don't want that to be our issue. And also with that, the paradise being tropical, the rainstorms, the hail, the winter time may be 3 and a possible months out of the year. The temperature is probably 60 degrees, maybe 30 at nighttime might be the coldest. So three and a possible 4 months out of the year, the weather is, it could be cold to you. It might be cold to some people. It might not be cold to other people. Some people still wear shorts. It all depends on you. Everybody's different, but I know 60 degrees is kind of cold for me. Even if I am from the Midwest, I don't like being cold. And I moved down here because I didn't want to be cold. But in the winter time, I say between November and February, the temperature can drop, especially at nighttime, and it gets a little cold. Not necessarily freezing, but you'll definitely feel that it's cold outside. So you'll need a jacket, you'll need some pants, you need a hoodie, you need a sweatshirt, you'll need some kind of covering if you don't like how cold it might get, but it might be fine with you. And that's another thing I wanted to mention. Like, it be a triple digit degrees down here and people be walking around with hoodies and sweatshirts on. And I understand that you're trying to protect your skin from the sun, but I just imagine that you hot as hell up under that hoodie. You've got to be hot with that jacket on and you outside and the sun is beating. But that's not my business. I'm just saying, I've noticed that, I paid attention to it, and I've seen it a lot to make me be like, it's hot outside. Why do they have a hoodie on? But that's not my business. I just know how to dress for the weather. And you always want to keep, when you come down here to visit, and even when you come down here to live, you want to keep in mind that you always want to keep some cold water. Keep you a cooler in the car, keep you a couple of frozen waters in a bag, whatever it takes, because you just don't want to dehydrate and be outside having a heat stroke because you don't have any water. But just keep you some handy in your car. That's what I do. Every time I go somewhere, I keep some frozen bottled water, or I have a thermos, or I have one of those sippable cups that you can refill. I keep something to make sure that I'm hydrated, so if it is super hot outside, then I have plenty of water to drink, so I won't have a heat stroke. But these are things that you don't want to have to find out the hard way, but I just thought that I'd share with you some tips and some tricks. The weather is paradise, almost tropical. Wintertime is short, 3 and a possible 4 months. It rains, it pours sometimes, and it even hails. But other than that, the weather is just about the best. And man, I can't wait to come back and share some other things with you about with the weather. When it's hot outside, what it looks like outside, man, I can't wait to share that with you. But you got to come back, you got to tune in, you got to click like, you got to click subscribe, and you got to come back and check for my next video. So until then, I'll see you, and be safe.